Hello folks, and welcome back to the channel. So I don't know how long I've had this truck for now. 8 months, maybe 6 or 8 months. I'm not even sure, to be honest. So far since I've had it, I haven't done anything performance related to the truck at all. But I did obviously put new wheels and tires on this thing. So we got some 20x10 -25 offset. What do I got for tires here? The tires are 295 65 20s. I believe, yep, 295 65 20. So it's a 35 inch. So it's actually like 35.1, 35.2 inch tall, 11.5 inch wide. So it is a 35, it's just not a 35 12.5. So today though, we're gonna be getting started with some performance stuff on this truck. I've got a few goodies to go on this. This is the first of many, but we're gonna put the Banks Rare air intake into this truck. So before we get into it, I'll pop the hood and I'll just let the truck idle and I'll rev it up so you guys can see what it sounds like when it's factory. And then we'll hook this bad boy up. I'm not gonna do a lot of the installation, maybe just things that kind of stick out to me. I'll catch those in the video, but I mean there's lots of videos out there. The instructions from Banks are really good, step by step, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. But then once I get hooked up, obviously I'll do some idling, some throttle. We'll take this thing for a spin and we'll see what the differences are. I'm hoping to hear a bit more of the turbo. I'm hoping the exhaust brake is a bit louder. Performance wise, you know, obviously it's getting more air, so it should be a little better on fuel. It should pick up you know, a couple horsepower coming off the line and you know, things like that. But honestly, like, I'm just looking forward to the sound. This truck has an S&B intake on it, but my 2021 F450 had the Banks intake and it made a big difference in sound. The Fords really give it the Fords with the air intake systems, they really get like a low rumble. So I'm interested to see what the Cummins sounds like with an intake on it. But yeah, let's pop the hood here and idle this thing up, and then we'll get into the product. All right, so here it is at idle. You just hear that Cummins. Big time different compared to the Fords. The Fords, the intake comes out right here. This one comes on out the side, the fender. The Ford comes from the front and the side. It looks like the Ram, oh no, there's a, right through here, I guess. Right through there, into the box, and then into the box from the side. So here it is at idle. I'm gonna rev it up and see if there's any sound at all coming out of this thing. All right, so that's pretty uneventful, to be honest. So let's see what this thing sounds like with the intake on it. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, I did just put a spacer, a coil spacer, 1 3/4 coil spacer, to make room for the tires. So yeah, I'll catch some of this stuff as I go. If anything sticks out to me that I think that, you know, you'd want to know. But yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna make it look so much better in here too. Really clean it up. That's for sure. All right, guys, so we're making some headway. Got it all tore apart, and there's the turbo sitting right there. A little bit of dirt, but not too bad. Turbo looks like to be a fair amount bigger on the Ford, but it's hard to say for sure. There's lots of room in this engine compared to the Ford, but man, I tell you, this, at least this install, this is way easier on the Fords than what it is here on these Cummins. But here's the factory filter that come out. Pretty dirty, pretty boring and uneventful. Garbage. And there's this silencer foam thing that people take out if they keep their stock filter system. They take this out and it's supposed to make it sound a bit better. And I mean, it should give it a heck of a lot more airflow too. You taking that thing out, I have no idea what that thing's for, but here's the new filter. A lot bigger, a lot better looking. The sensors are in place. The actuator motor is in. I just gotta put the fin on, the flap on or whatever. Just a little note, because I've done this stuff a few times. They tell you to tighten these hose clamps here, the ones that actually are holding the boot and the tube on to the filter, and they say to leave these ones loose, but it's much easier just to snug them up a little bit and then loosen them and slide them once you get your intake in place, because if you just leave it dangling and loose, there's a good chance it's going to fall on the ground, fall inside the engine bay. Who knows if you're going to get it back. So that's just a little note that I'll point out. Pretty much ready to throw this thing together and to get it back in the truck. There it is. I got to clean the cover off, got some handprints on it. Looks much better, that's for sure. Looks good. Engine bay cleaned up very nicely. But man, oh man, I tell you what, I would do the intake on the 6.7 Power Strokes 10 times again before I do this one again. I did not like this install. They tell you to put this all together and then shove it on to the intake and get it all jammed in here in place. I think I would probably, if I was going to do this again, I would do it in as many pieces as I could. I would definitely put the boot on the intake first, like your turbo body, whatever. I'd put it on there first and then push this on into that, as well as getting your PVC tube hooked on at the same time, because just trying to jam that on there and this on there and then have this in place all at the same time was not easy for sure. But let's fire it up and see what she sounds like. So it definitely does have a little more of a rumble to it, just like the Fords do, but it's not as pronounced as what the Ford is. With the Ford, it's huge difference in sound. This one, not as much difference, but you can still hear it. Anyway, let's get her on the road. An exhaust note here. Yeah, you can hear it coming out of the exhaust more. You can hear it. I can hear the rumble. I don't know how well it's coming through the camera, but I can definitely hear it. Oh yeah, I can hear it. Okay, there's some turbo noise. Oh yeah, I can hear it now big time. Whoa. You can really hear the turbo. Engine brake is quite a bit louder as well. get a good pull here. Man, I hope that turbo whistle is coming through the camera, because you could not hear that before at all. At all. That is a huge difference. Oh yeah, I'm digging this. Big time. So, you know, who knows what the performance gains will be, as horsepower and all that. You might gain 3 or 4 horsepower by doing this, potentially. And the mileage, you know, it should be better on fuel. There's no way that it wouldn't be, that's for sure. But the sound and the look, when you pop the engine bay, you see that there versus the stock one, it obviously looks a heck of a lot better. And then the sound is, that turbo whistle is, that's awesome. Get a good pull here getting onto the highway. She whistles. So I've been driving this truck now for probably 3 hours or so, three and a half hours, since I put the intake on. I had a soccer game up in the valley, so man, does it ever sound amazing. Like from an idle, when the truck's parked sitting, you don't really notice it too much, but driving, you hear the turbo whistle almost all the time, like almost all the time. And the engine brake sounds like, it sounded good before, now it just sounds amazing. As far as fuel mileage goes, I reset my trip there a little while ago. I can hear the turbo whistle right now. It's 45 kilometers, we're at 12.1 liters per 100. And my average speed, you can see, is 101 kilometers an hour. We're doing 106 right now, so that is not really accurate. Like, it should actually be better than what that says it is, because the tire size has changed on this truck, and it has not been calibrated. So the distance is actually more than what the truck is thinking it is with that fuel consumption. So the only way that I'd really know is to do an actual pump-to-pump calculation, which I do plan on doing. But not in this video. This is, you know, this is just more of the intake. But the install, that was, like I said, I would rather do, and I mean, S and B is probably the same, you know, they're all probably the same, obviously, but I would do my power strokes 10 times again before I do this one. I think if I put the boot on first onto the turbo, I think if I put the boot on and secured that and then slid the intake pipe and then the PVC pipe in at the same time, I think it would have been a bit of a better idea, just because the intake pipe is a lot slipperier than the turbo housing or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't want to slide on at all. It was tough. Like I was, listen to that. I was getting, I had some choice words, that's for sure. Anyway, yeah, that sounds so good. Crazy. Sounds good. Turbo. I really hope the camera's picking that up. You didn't get any of that before. None. You didn't hear the turbo at all in this truck before. It's just there all the time. I'm just feathering the pedal right now. It's just there the whole time. So, yeah, this is the first performance-orientated thing for this truck. Banks, man, they make such good stuff. They make such good stuff. But I do have some more stuff to go on that they did send me. So I do have the pedal monster and the data monster, the iDash. That's gonna be going on here soon, so that will make this thing get rid of more of the lag in the truck. The intake helps, but that will help big time. So I got that to go on, and then I got the diff cover to go on. And I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna put the monster exhaust on this truck as well. I think it's called monster exhaust. So that would be nice. But yeah, I highly recommend this. Like this, oh. Just listen to that. That sounds so freaking good. But anyway, folks, that is gonna do it for this one. If you're on the fence about an intake, whether it's this one or the S&V, get it. Just get it. Like, even if you don't have huge fuel mileage gains and power gains, literally the enjoyment of the way this, man, that sounds so good. The way that this thing sounds, it just makes you want to just get in it and drive like all the time. My experience personally with the S&V versus the Banks, they're both really good. They're so close, but I would pick the Banks over S&V. Yeah, I would for sure. It just better look, little things, even like the packaging and stuff. Like the packaging in this thing was amazing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the other stuff that's going to be going on this truck. I've got some pretty big plans. Like, I'm slowing down hard. I got some pretty big plans for my 350. I'm gonna get that truck some love. That truck has been abused and abused and abused, so that deserves some love. So stay tuned for that, obviously, but lots more coming on the truck stuff. Yeah, so until next time, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you then.